Hello and welcome to Wisdom Bites. Hope you're well. Thank you once again for joining us. Very much appreciated. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you the usual big picture view as well as the micro analysis of exactly where we're at with Bitcoin and where we're heading in the next few days, weeks and months. But before I begin, the usual polite reminder, please remember everything in my videos and in this video is always going to be for educational purposes. Nothing should be taken as financial advice, so please do your due diligence and do your wider research before you make any important investment decisions. Having said that, I still get the odd comment from people expecting me to make predictions and thinking that when I give you the prices to the upside and the downside, and when they don't play out on either way, that I'm either right or wrong. And if that is your view, then you're obviously looking at my videos from a completely different perspective to the one I'm trying to present. From my side, I try and give a thesis both to the upside as well as to the downside. So I'm reading the charts and giving you my detailed perspective of the reasons why I think it could go to the upside or the downside, and then it's up to you to make up your mind to take as much value from that as possible. And that's why I always say at the end of the videos that if you do find some value in the video, then please do remember to like, and if you don't, then it doesn't matter. Just want to confirm that at the end of the day, just like all the other YouTubers, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't even know what I'm going to have for lunch today, and I'm not in the business of predicting at all. I'm just giving you certain prices to the upside and possible to the downside, and back that up with some of the reasoning that I give by looking at the candlestick formations, the patterns, the historical perspective, etc., etc. So I hope that makes it clear. So with that out of the way, we can carry on with today's video. And that is that I'm going to first of all start off with the 6-month chart here, only because it looks very, very interesting. So this is the end of cycle 1, and this is the end of cycle 2. And we're obviously in the 3rd cycle here of the 4-year cycles. And the reason why I'm thinking this is quite interesting is because if you look at the 1st and the 2nd cycles, there's something very interesting in the sense that, so when we had a blow off top here in November, December 2013, we had a run up of 4 green candles ending in a blow off top candle for the previous 6 months before the blow off top here. So similarly, in the 2nd 4-year cycle, we had this time 5 green candles all getting higher and higher and higher, culminating in the final 6 months of that bull market at the end of 2017 with a big blow off top here. Now contrast that with the current cycle. Again, we've had 4 green candles. It doesn't go unnoticed that we've had very flat candles in this cycle with just one reasonable candle here. And the reason why I find this interesting is that the current candle here, although it's a red candle as you can see, it does provide some glimmer of hope because we really haven't had a blow off top here at the $64,000 and the $69,000 marks. Could it be that this candle, which started in January 2022, which ends at the end of June this year, so it'll be a 6-month candle, are we about to have a blow off top similar to the previous 2 candles here? Because as you can see, this cycle doesn't resemble anything like the first 2 cycles at all. Anyway, that was just food for thought. I'll let you make up your own mind. But certainly it doesn't look right to have a very thin candle here following 2 preceding ones. Could it be that we're gearing up for a big move in the next few months? Only time will tell. My own view is, as you know from before, is that we're more than likely going to go up a little bit, maybe even up to 52,000 between now and mid-May. And then the last 6 months of this year, I would expect the price to come back to this level here at around about the $29,000, $30,000 mark. Let's see what happens, and only time will tell. Okay, so let's have a rundown on the time frames. Firstly, on the monthly chart, the BLX chart here is very interesting. Again, just to point out a few things so that you can keep this in mind for the future. As you can see, the yellow line here is the 21 simple moving average on the monthly chart. And what the history of this BLX chart tells us about Bitcoin is the fact that up to the bull market blow off top, this was the first one here in November 2013, the price remains above the 21 until we get into the bear market, and somewhere along the line we break below it. But when we break back above, that is usually the sign that we're back at the beginning of the next bull run to come in the next few years. Similarly, in the 2nd cycle, when we had this blow off top, we remained above it all the way through until we came back down in the bear market, had the capitulation, just like over here, and then when we got back above it again here, in May 2019, that was once again the beginning of the next bull run that we had, which culminated in the 64,000 and 69,000 double top that we've just recently had. And currently, we are still above the 21 simple moving average here on the monthly chart. We haven't fallen below it. We're finding support, just like the previous cycle and the one before here. And these two came at the end of the bear market, towards the end here, in the last 6 months. So maybe we've got a few months to go up higher before we actually fall back below this. And then when the market comes back up above the 21 simple moving average, that would be the beginning of the next bull run. It's also interesting if you look at the white line, which is the 50 simple moving average on the monthly chart, and that we haven't actually gone much below it, but we found very strong support at the end of the bear markets there, and also here. This was the COVID situation line here, which actually protruded below it, so we can discount that. So as you can see, this is a rising line here. And what this tells us is that we are actually quite well protected from the lower regions of this. And that line is currently at 20,000, but obviously as the time goes on in the next 6-7 months, it may well be that we bottom out here at around about 30,000, which is exactly what I was saying in the last video when I was looking at the 200 simple moving average on the weekly chart, because that is the one that everybody keeps their eye on, because we found multiple supports along the history of Bitcoin, and that usually marks the bottom of the bear market in the previous history here. And that price currently is at around about 21,500. And obviously it's a rising line here. And once we get to the end of this bear market, which is going to be around about 7-8 months time, it may well be that we cross at the support lines of these lines here at around about 28 to 30,000. So those people calling for lower prices in the bear market at 14 and lower, the charts would not actually be bearing that out. So going back to the monthly chart, I'm going to look at this blue line here, which is the 8 exponential moving average. And as I've shown you many times, we're currently below the 8 EMA here on the monthly chart. And we normally always fall below this during a bear market, as we can see from here. So we stayed above it, had the blow off top. Once we fell below, we never got above it until the end of the bear market, which was about 12 months later. Same here, stayed above it all the way through until the blow off top, came back down, broke below it, and it was only at the end of the 12-month bear market that we decided to raise our heads above that average again here. And that was the start of another bull market. So that was part of our thesis, that currently we're in a bear market, because we came here at the 64, came back down, but we did manage to get back above it here. But then, having gone up to the 69 to create this double top, we've now fallen below it again in the last 4 months. And the reason why this is interesting is that maybe this candle here, the red candle we're currently at, as we can see with a closer view, maybe this is giving us a clue as to the current rally that we're having with Bitcoin, that maybe we're not going to get above this blue line, because we only tend to get above this line at the end of the bear market, and that usually occurs at the end of the 12 months. And that line currently is at around about 44.5, 44.6, 44.7,000. But if we did manage to get above it, that could be also the signal that, as we saw with the 6 months chart, that maybe we're going to go to much higher levels here. So just very interesting formations on the candlestick patterns that are occurring here. Certainly 52,000 to mark this level here is still on the table, which would obviously take it above the 8 EMA here. So only time will tell. I hope you found some value in just the perspective that I'm giving on this formation here. And sticking with the 8 EMA, but this time on the weekly chart, you can see quite clearly that we're just tagging the 8 EMA this week. And we came right up to it at around about 41.7. And the question is, can we actually muster enough energy and enough strength to get above it this week or next week? Just like we did over here. And now that was followed by a big green candle there. So that's what I would expect. If we can get just above it here, then we can expect a further run up, maybe back to these levels here at 48, or even these levels here at 52. And looking at the daily chart, this is what gives me hope that we've just now managed to get above the 8 EMA today. We came up yesterday and tagged it right at the point there, raising our heads just above it, and today we seem to have confirmed that. So let's see how this goes from here. Certainly the first target that I would put up here would be the 61.8 if we take it from this point to this bottom here, which gives us a target of around about 44.5 to 44.8. So around about 44.6, 44.7. And then it has to make up its mind at this point whether to go to the higher side or the lower side. If it does go to the higher side, then we've got this 200 daily moving average, just like we got rejected here. We would have to negotiate our way above that. But certainly this would be another point to get rejected, because that would create another double top here. And just a quick word about cycles. If we look at the daily chart with all the levels marked in, as I mentioned many times before, we tend to be going through these cycles of 1 month up, 1 month down, 1 month up, 1 month down, and last month we went up to the 48, came back down, and now are we in the next final month of this 2-month cycle here to go back up, wherever it's going to be up, whether it's going to be up to this level here at 49.50, maybe 52,000, as a double top here at 48 again, or this zone here at 44.5 to 45.5, before we come tumbling down in mid-May. So this is something to look out for. Okay, so we're going to leave it there. For my next video, hopefully on Friday, again it'll be a little bit late because I'm going to be very busy in the morning on Friday, ask you whether you'd be interested in me doing a little bit of a detailed analysis on the Bitcoin miners and why I think that they are extremely undervalued at the moment. And if you were to take a 2-year view on those miners, they could pay handsomely over those 2 or 3 years. So if you want me to cover those, then let me know with your feedback by clicking the like button. If I get over 200 this time on this video, then I'll do a detailed analysis of 1, maybe 2 Bitcoin miners in terms of their market cap, the number of Bitcoin produced, and what their true valuation should be in the next year or 2. So let me know by clicking the like button. I hope you found value in this video, and if you have, then please do remember to like and subscribe and to turn on the notification bell. And if you want to leave any comments, questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.